And hello, everybody. Me and my good friend and trusty compadre Pedro are here to have a little chat with you about caution. More snow is in the forecast. Does that make you happy, Pedro? Does it? Well, you get a treat because well, it's all a treat because we're talking weather. Details next, right? Right. All right, my friends at Robert Gibbons Sons want you to know if you could be eligible for up to $2,000 in a tax credit rebate on select upgraded heating systems. Call Robert Gibbons Sons today to learn more. Oh my goodness, here we go. We've got some wild weather to talk about. Let's get started with a look at the, topic of the day right now is these ridiculous temperatures. The air is coldest up in the oil patch on Highway 2 between Minot and Williston. We're in the teens below zero. Look at Estevan, 18 below there, Minot 11 below Bismarck. 4 below zero. It is 6 below zero in the Williston area, holding on to zero in Fargo Moorhead, 2 below in Grand Forks, 9 below for you folks up there in the great old, the great old Burg of War Road, International Falls, 6 below. We have Bemidji at 8 below zero, Waskish at 4 below. How about Roseau? Pretty chilly there. And in Foston, it is 8 below. Now let's factor in those winds because wind chills right now are equally as ridiculous, if not more so. Here's a look at the valley. 20 below is what it feels like in Grand Forks and Fargo on exposed skin. Again, you want to make sure you're covering it up because with this wind chills as low as we're seeing right now, 30 below in the Bemidji area, well, exposed skin can freeze, which is frostbite, and that can set in as little as 10 to 15 minutes in some cases, particularly when we get out to the west where we do have some wind chill values up near Langdon and points north near Walhalla near 30 below, and now we're kissing 40 below north of Newtown right now. Look at Estevan up there. How about 39 below zero for that wind chill, 20 below in Dickinson and Montana. Let's not forget about that because we have winter storm warnings out there and it's cold, but the wind chills are around 20 below zero for many across western and central Montana and eastern Montana. No picnic either as well. That's a look at what's going on there. Now let's take a look at the radar details. And here's a look at what's going on across the region. Look at all of the snowfall reports that have come in today in Wyoming. Cowboy country getting hammered with some heavy snow and a lot of reports there. Now, more snow is continuing. We have winter storm warnings in place across the big sky country of Montana. Here's what that looks like as we take you on a look at the latest warnings across the nation. The red counties here, all winter storm warnings. These will be set to expire in the mountains of western and northern California, all the way up into parts of Oregon. Now, as we look into northern parts of Idaho, Montana, that's where the winter storm warnings are in our area. And they have just added up there that Glasgow zone in northeast Montana, Wolf Point, Culbertson, Brockton, Wolf Point, Freud, all those areas under a winter storm warning right now, and a cold weather advisory for our neck of the woods here in North Dakota, as you can see. Taking you in a little bit closer, here are the details in and around the Glasgow area as I pull up the text from the National Weather Service. Look at this. Northeast Montana, 4 to 8 inches of additional snow working its way through as this system continues. This is in effect until tomorrow night on Wednesday evening. But look at this. Get up into the mountains of Montana. Let's go out here near Butte. These areas here, some of them expecting to see upwards of another 10 inches of snow from the system as it works through to 12 inches of snow. So expect heavy snow and wind if you're traveling through the big sky country of Montana. Basically cold air and winter weather advisories out in the eastern plains of Montana on I-94 near Glendive to Miles City. And there's a batch of snow near Roundup taking place right now. Now, as we take a look out to the east coast, we do have some snow showers working their way through that neck of the woods as well. So that is what we have going on. Now let me see if I've got any questions going on. And as always, I love it when you guys drop a note and let me know what's going on with regard to your area. Again, hutchesweather.com. I want to just continue to reiterate this. The road conditions tab at the top can make sure that you're aware what you're driving into. All states surrounding our entire region, we've efforted to make sure they're available for you. So click on that road conditions tab. And also, this is a fun one. We're going to go ahead and do this right now, but that snow reports Dealey Bob right there in the upper corner. Check out this. This is ridiculousness here. Look at all the snow that fell across the region. Now in our area, today's snow amounted to around 6 inches In Victor, South Dakota, we did get several 4 to 5 inch reports right along the South Dakota, North Dakota border, right where we were talking about last night at this time with regards to that snow. Now, central Minnesota picked up healthy snowfall amounts. Look at this, Brandon, Minnesota, 4.6 inches, and up here on the Highway 10 corridor, New York Mills picking up a report of 4 inches. In and around the Twin Cities, 1 to 3 inches as a rule there. And there were some just awesome snowfall reports. Remember all the ones we were talking about moments ago. In places like Wyoming here, all of these red dots, look at this ridiculousness. How about the south entrance to Yellowstone? 40 inches of snow. That's more than 3 feet of snow, and that's taller than Pedro. Pedro, what do you think about that? He says, nope, not gonna do it. It wouldn't be prudent at this juncture. So there's a lot of snow out west. That snow is not coming our way, but we have 2 chances of snow in our forecast. Let's talk about the facts. Tonight, air temperatures will be in the teens to around 15 below zero in our northern counties. We could see near Walhalla and Langdon, temperatures closer to 18 to 22 below there, 17 below in Hallock as you go out. Tooth chipping cold. Sunrise 7:47 in the morning. Now you factor in the winds out there that'll be upwards of around 20 miles per hour. We'll have wind chills here in the valley and most of northern Minnesota, 20 below zero. And as you take a look out to the west, we're going to see some 30 to 40 below zero readings for wind chill. Again, how cold it feels on exposed skin. Tomorrow, a blustery day. Average temperatures with winds only around 15 miles per hour in the single digits. 5 Fargo, 3 in Grand Forks. Woohoo! Dickinson, 4 degrees above zero, and 14 for Duluth. Definitely pretty warm in Brainerd at a 9. Thank you, Kathy, so very much for sharing stars with Hutch. Again, I sure appreciate all of your support. Now, let's take a look at a couple things, and we're going to talk a little bit about this. And I promised earlier to go over an hour-by-hour account of the forecast snow that's coming. We'll get you the very latest here momentarily. Cold tomorrow morning near 10 below in the FM area, 5 for an afternoon temperature. Wind chills all day will be around 20 below zero, so it's going to be another ear-slapping cold kind of day. And then we warm up on Wednesday, but this is the next system. Wednesday promises to bring us another round of snow. Late Wednesday, it gets started into Thursday morning. That means late night travel across the region could be impacted on Wednesday night into Thursday morning's travel and drive time. Checking in from Campbell, -1 and 4.5 inches of flakiness out there. Good. Thank you, Chris and Vicky, for checking in there. Angela says, brr indeed. And thanks for watching. So round 1 that is ahead after today. This, I guess, would be round 2 coming Wednesday night into Thursday. Thursday, we get a break in the afternoon. Friday morning, a break, but not from the cold. Look at this. Oh, burness. That's uncles, snotsicles, or frosticles. You get to pick the adjective there. It's going to be cold, though. 11 below in Fargo-Moorhead, and some areas will see temperatures, air temperatures around 20 below, thanks to the fresh snow that falls, particularly up north. I'll show you the map here in just a second. After that, next round of snow, Friday night, midnight, and it's all going to bring us some flakes. That's right. And then you'll wake up in the morning on Saturday and say, goodness sakes. That's right. We're looking at 9 for a temperature on Saturday, but snow there. After that, mighty cold air settles in. So brutal cold weather in the forecast period. Let's talk about the forecast basic maps, and then we'll go over the details. The next round of snow that we're watching for you here at Hutch's Weather is the Wednesday evening and Thursday morning round. Models are in pretty fair agreement that this event is going to take place in the northern one half of the state, where today's event was mainly in the south. So if you missed out today, again, our amounts are going to be very similar. 1 to maybe 4 inches for many areas across the northern one half of North Dakota. South Dakota, not so much. Look at this, northern Minnesota from the, let's say, St. Cloud, Little Falls area and points north through Grand Rapids, Hibbing, and all the way up into Warroad. Woo, we could be getting some snowmobile snow or snowblower snow for some of you. With International Falls and those areas picking up near Rainy Lake, oh, 6 inches of flaky goodness there, eh? Okay, so that's what's going on there. That's round 1, 2. Let's not confuse that for this week. That would be round 2. Now, here's the next system. This one comes through Friday night into Saturday. We're back down to the southern half of the region. Weirdness ensues. I-94 Ripper works its way across the region. We could be talking about significant amounts of snow. Please be advised, this is a forecast model. This is all snowfall potential. It's not a forecast yet. Too far out to get too specific. We got to count the inches from round 2 that comes Wednesday and the Thursday. That will impact the location of this band by influencing our temperatures in these areas. Ethan, thank you so much. How much snow does Upham, North Dakota look like to get Wednesday and Thursday? So the last map would have been a help, Ethan. I'll pop that up back for you here in just 1 minute. I want to make a point here, though, before I move on. These amounts that you see here are model guidance. This particular model is the European model. I-94 out west, the snow will fall a little bit earlier. This is not the total amount of snow between now and then. This is a 24-hour snowfall amount by Saturday mid-morning. Okay, so this goes from Friday mid-morning all the way to Saturday mid-morning, with the main event happening Friday night, all night into Saturday morning, and then it continues to truck off toward the cities. This is showing the potential for some areas seeing up to a foot of snow. Is that real? Is it realistic? Well, it's not always realistic. These models that are basically a large-scale, global-sized model tend to overblow the aerial coverage of the heavy snow. So it's not likely we're going to see this wide of an area with 5 to 7 inches of snow. But what Hutch is confident in saying is the track of this storm, where it goes, and where the heavier snow band is going to be, we could see some narrow bands, not just one, but narrow bands of heavier snow, and they could be in excess of 4 inches. I'm pretty confident in saying that. It could slide south and out of our area, but let me show you the latest on a couple of models as we take a look at this nonsense. Okay, so back to the map. I wanted to point out to you the Wednesday-Thursday system here. Ethan, why don't you take a look here? And as we take a look at this one, notice I-94 and points north. We're just talking about a trace to 3 inches of snow for many here. You get into northern Minnesota, that's where we'll have a better chance there at seeing some places with 3 or more inches of snow. Again, it's a little bit on the early side. Hutch will keep you up to date with that. The snow begins late Wednesday. It won't be late at night Wednesday out west. It moves in from the west. But for eastern North Dakota, dinner hour and beyond on Wednesday night, overnight into your Thursday morning is when that impacts the area. I hope that answers your question, Ethan. Thank you so much. Hi from Jamestown. As you see, another batch of flaky goodness for your area as well in the James River Valley. Now, here's the headlines. There's that second round of snow. Here's those headlines again. The thing to keep in mind that as we go through the weekend, the models are showing pretty consistent snow along the North Dakota, South Dakota border into Minnesota again for the Friday, Saturday event. And the European model is more robust with the snowfall potential. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Now, let's take a look at this nonsense right now. We're going to take a look at the American model first real quickly. And I'm going to zoom this into our neck of the woods here. So give me 1 minute while I dial this in for us as we go into the northern plains. That's our area of concern right now. And then we're not looking at the first system. Here it is coming through Wednesday night and Thursday, right? Notice there are some darker blue bands of heavier snow, but they don't stay over us for too long. That will limit the snowfall from this particular system because it's a zipper. It moves through pretty quick. Now, as we go through, we'll have another area of north winds bringing cold air in. Those are the cold breaks in between these weather-making systems. And here we go. Now, this is the latest model, but I want to share something with you. If you want to know some inside baseball meteorology stuff here, this model run is called the 18Z run. Okay, the 18Z run is one that is initiated or started. It's a computer model of the forecast and what the weather is supposed to do, but it's not based on current measurements that happen from the whole depth of the atmosphere. 18Z is not when that happens. We launch weather balloons at National Weather Service forecast offices at 0Z or at midnight Greenwich Mean Time over in Europe, and at noon Greenwich Mean Time in Europe. Those, in my humblest of opinions, do a much better job. The 12Z and the 0Z model runs do better than this 18Z run. So I don't put lock, stock, and barrel in this, but what I am showing you is the latest track. And this is the American model, and look at where the snow is. South Dakota into southern Minnesota. You see that? That's for the Friday, Saturday system. That would leave Fargo out of that particular system. Now let's change this over to the European model and take a quick peek at this. Here goes your midweek weather maker, Wednesday, Thursday. Again, both models agree on the track and the timing with this one, and the fact that it's a zipper moving through fairly quickly. So if it's a zipper and it's a ripper and it's out of here, it's not going to leave a ton of snow. The European model here, on the other hand, has a more northerly track with this storm system that comes through Friday and into Saturday morning. This, by the way, timestamp on this is for Saturday morning. Let me get back to that one frame. Here it is. This is for Saturday morning at 12Z. In our time zone, we have to subtract 6 hours from 12Z. That makes it 6 a.m. on Saturday. Notice the heavier bands right here through Lakes Country's kitchen, believe it or not. So get those pots and pans ready because we might see some significant snow as we go through. That's a look at the couple of models. Let me see if I have any questions here before we wrap up. But again, I want to say a huge shout out and thank you to everybody who's uploaded photos over at hutchesweather.com. There have been some dandies and we've seen a lot of beautiful scenery. Glencoe, Beth Ann, thank you so very much for this view. Very quiet view there with a little layer or dusting on the streets there. I'm not sure how much you got, but there were reports there of around 1 inch to 2 inches today. Angela from rural Gary, Minnesota on a, well, look at the moon, the sliver of the moon out there, and check this out. Twin Valley awesomeness. Melissa here is just an avid photographer, and she goes out in the coldest of conditions to get shots like this, and it's incredible. Here, we're seeing these little streaks across the sky, and these streaks are called light pillars. Oftentimes, a light pillar emanates from the ground straight up when the sky is filled with ice crystals. But this shows the sky wasn't completely filled with ice crystals. We have a little dash here, so there were ice crystals here in the sky, reflecting that surface light back towards our eyes. Same thing goes for this spot, this spot, this spot. Those were where the ice crystals were. What an incredible photo. And Melissa, thank you for asking about what may have caused that. That's my 2 cents on it. Do you have an idea of what could have caused that? Ice crystals can do fun things to sunlight, or in this case, moonlight, or in this case, any lights that are out there. Speaking of lights, check out this beauty from Davis. Thanks for sharing, Davis, in the Thief River Falls area. Beautiful scenery out there. Keep them coming, folks. And again, if you do have a chance and you get some snow anytime, anywhere, this is where I want you to upload a picture with your ruler, stab it in the snow. It's hard to measure snow on windy days, but you can take an average. Just remember this, if you're measuring it in or around drifts, it's really difficult to get a good average, so take several measurements. And oftentimes we would like to stay away from the downwind area from trees, buildings, and obstacles, because what that obstacle does is it slows the wind down, allowing the snow to drop out, and more of it accumulates on the downwind side of things like the roof of your house and such. So those are a couple of tips, but you know what? We would rather have your report and your measurement than none at all. And without them, we wouldn't be able to show you the measurements that we went over a little bit earlier. All right, that is a look at your forecast. BA, thank you, says a light dusting. Hey, Hutch, Tiffany says 3 inches of snow in Bismarck from last night's system. I did see that, 3 to 4 inches across the capital city. Thanks so much, Tiffany. I hope you are well, and thanks for watching. Pelican Rapids have gotten 9.1 inches so far this season. Wow, 9.1 inches so far this season. I'm taking a look here and my eyes are wandering because I'm pulling up the latest climate report here from our Fort Fargo and Grand Forks positions here. Let me just go ahead and get to that. Here we go. Observed weather. Let's go with Fargo. So when we take a look at Fargo's snowfall for the season and for the year, we are at 14.5 inches. For the season so far in Fargo, 14.5. Normally, we have 50 inches of snow in a winter season. That would include any snow from October or outside of the window of winter, meteorologically speaking. But for the entire season, 14.5 inches of snow is it. And thank you for your report from Park Rapids. It's important to note we have not gotten a lot of snow, but in my experience and in yours, they're called averages for a reason. And a lot of seasons we tend to get closer to the average, not always right on that 50 number, but we should end up closer to the average by the time winter's all said and done. And at 14.5 inches, that leaves a lot of room for growth here the rest of the winter for some more snow. Now, if I take a look at Grand Forks out at the UND National Weather Service Forecast Office area, 20.8 inches of snow. Still well below average for this time of the year. We're normally sitting at 30, so about 10 inches below average or subpar for this time of the season. So keep that in mind. That's Grand Forks, but even across a couple of miles from the National Weather Service Forecast Office in Grand Forks by the Highway 2 corridor there, and then if we look at the air base, or excuse me, the airport, I should say, my apologies, 15.5 inches. So they're 15.5 inches below average for this time of the year. Great point, and thank you for sharing. All right, that's a look at Hutch's weather. I'm going to keep you posted with the latest. Drop your comments right here, questions. I look at them all. And until next time, do remember that hutchesweather.com is a great place for you to check road reports anytime, anywhere. I really appreciate all of you who have clicked the follow button on Facebook. Do you know that I am approaching 60,000 followers on Facebook, and I couldn't do it without you hitting that button? And how does that help? It helps Hutch's Weather get served to more viewers in our area by Facebook by increasing the following. So please help me do that. Subscribe on YouTube as well, and you can see a video that I posted there on the nation's weather, including what's going on in Montana and the East Coast and what's happening for the rest of the work week across the nation on my YouTube channel, Hutch's Weather. Search it up. I'd love to have you subscribe to that. Have a good evening. I'll check back with you on your beautiful Tuesday, although less than toasty.